Wilbur Soot, a Minecraft content creator who caught one of the biggest controversies of the year so far in the Minecraft community. He was accused of biting his former ex-girlfriend who came out and exposed him under the name Shelby. She came out with a huge exposing stream. Didn't exactly call out Wilbur Soot in the beginning, but everybody knew it was Wilbur Soot after she talked about him being a tall British man and having an ant infestation. But what people certainly didn't expect to know about Wilbur Soot is that he has a massive biting problem. Fast forward a couple months and he's taken a long break off of the internet. But just yesterday on his Instagram story, which I'll play here in just a second, he's announced that he's coming back to the community.
I'm back from my break. I just want to make this quick video to briefly talk about what the four of us at Lovejoy have planned for the rest of this year. But first, I wanted to mention some stuff was said about me on the internet a couple of months ago. And if you haven't already seen, I responded back in February. That response is all I want to say on the matter for now. And yeah, I'd much rather talk about what the plan is for us going forward. So going into summer, we're going to be doing a tour of Australia. So if you live in Australia and you want to see Lovejoy play live, we really hope to see you there. In a couple of months, we'll be releasing our new single, I'll Look Good When I'm Sober, which we've been working on for ages now, and we're really excited for you to hear it. And of course, we're very excited to get back into the studio, writing and recording, and we'll show you what we've got when we've got it. But yeah.
Briefly, I want to go back over this whole drama before I get into my thoughts on that current clip. So if you don't remember, Shelby came out with a stream basically accusing George Not Found of being, kind of an abusive boyfriend, biting her, and, it was a consensual thing at first, but then he started biting so hard that it left her with bruises and she ended up getting hurt, which is obviously not okay. Wilbur Soot comes out with a response and basically admits, like, hey, all this is true, so I don't know really what to do. I'm just gonna work on myself, guys. And then all of his friends start saying how George is a disgusting piece of crap. Then we get to the whole Katie Bugs drama, which I think subsided from all this. But back to Shelby and everything that we've talked about so far. We're now here. So first off, I noticed during the entire thing that Wilbur's body language is just like, okay, I've got to make this video, man, but I really don't want to talk about everything that happened in February because it would just really sour my public reputation even more. And the thing is, I used to like Wilbur Soot. I used to think he's a pretty respectable guy until everything came out, and I'm just kind of like, I don't hate him because I don't hate anybody, but it's a general dislike. And when he's talking about it, he talks about it so passively. It was like, yeah, I just had this whole abusive girlfriend thing. Okay, let's talk about Lovejoy, guy. Hey, Lovejoy, let's get this going on over here. He wants to talk about his freaking tour over this entire situation at hand. And one of the things I want to say is he talks like he has evidence per se. And some people online say that he has, quote unquote, more evidence. I don't think he does, because he raised the white flag back in February with that post way too quickly. If you had evidence for a situation, and we've seen this with Katie Bugs and George, immediately George took less than like a day to respond to all the allegations. And I would do the same thing, because if I'm having my name dragged through the mud and I've got more than 1 million subscribers, George having over 10 million subscribers, I would want to protect my public image, I'm not going to back down in the face of controversy. So I feel like the whole argument that Wilbur does have more evidence is in vain. It's futile, because if he had more evidence, I feel like he would have came out about it. I feel like his whole demeanor when he wrote his public apology on Twitter on February 27th, he was just like, yeah, guys, this is just a terrible thing that I did. It's so bad, but I mean, it happened a little while ago, but I'm going to take responsibility for it because the internet's going to cancel me if I don't. So let's just go ahead and get it over with. And then I'll sprinkle in there about parts of, oh, I'm working on myself, because, yeah, that's just the normal thing to say. But if I'm being 100% honest here, most people who do something like this generally do not change that quickly. I mean, to be quite frankly honest, has he changed? Has his mindset changed? Has he realized truly what he is? And obviously, living in the past is not exactly the best motive, and that's why I feel like I'm double-siding myself on this situation, because to be quite frankly honest, on the one side I'm like, I think it's a little odd that he would come back that quickly, but then again, you know, living in the past and living in dramas that people have forgiven you for, which in this case, I don't think Wilbur Soot has been forgiven, as I'll show you guys here in a second a clip of Shelby talking about him coming back, but I want to finish up what I was saying first. I think people haven't forgiven him, but there have been scenarios where people have forgiven him or forgiven other people, such as Shane Dawson and James Charles, and they still lived and reminisced in the past. So he could just be taking a page out of their playbook and looking at it and be like, okay, I do not want to be a Shane Dawson or James Charles. I'm just going to briefly go by it so I don't have to live by that facade on video, and let's get into something else. Now I'm going to play the clip of Shelby on her stream, and we'll decipher that.
What's happening is he is doubling down on this apology. I want to talk about some of it because I feel like it's right in front of you, a very deliberate, malicious action that shows you who he is, and it has been overlooked because it was manipulation. And I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk about how everything that I said was acknowledged and not denied, not even a single detail, literally not a single detail. And I want to clarify that because there was only one but I thought it was consensual. I thought the biting specifically was consensual. I thought the biting was consensual. I never said otherwise. I never said that it wasn't. That was not the issue. That is not even close to the issue. It is completely changing the story right in front of your face. All it would take you is going back and watching that first VOD again or read this transcript. I wanted to be so clear that there was no shame in biting in a relationship. I wouldn't judge people participating in that consensually because it can be harmless. The point is that it was harming me. And it wasn't at first. He was capable of doing it for months without even a single accident, never hurting me. And then accidents started, and then they were repeating, and then they were becoming more frequent. And then it was a routine. It was part of our routine. It was every day, and it was worse and worse, more extreme pain as time went on. For him to say, but I thought the biting was consensual, is implying I said different. It's implying that the situation was he was biting me and I said I didn't consent to that. That didn't happen. That's not what happened. And there is no room for him to have misunderstood that because I made it explicitly clear in my very original stream by saying the biting was not the problem. I did agree to it. I did consent to him biting me. I did not consent to him hurting me. And that action, that is the most recent action, other than the doubling down, saying that is still those are the words that I want to say on this, that's it.
And I couldn't agree.
Now, after rewatching that clip again, I have to agree with Shelby here. The whole thing has been spun out of control, and I think that Wilbur in his pose trying to respin some of the words, because she just admitted the entire problem with Twitter and people as a whole. They like to flip the script in a moment's notice, and that's exactly what Wilbur was trying to do, and I pointed that out back in my original video, which I made. It's June already? Wow, half a year's already gone by almost since that video. But I pointed it out in my original video that he was trying to say that, oh, I thought it was consensual and you just are complaining because it was happening. No, she just verified that, dude, it was happening and it was very extreme. Now, it's still a case of just back and forth. There hasn't been any evidences of Shelby showing pictures of bruises, or I guess they would be bruises or bite marks, whatever. I don't know what would happen if in that situation. I've never been there before myself. But the fact of the matter is, there's really been no evidence. It's been more of Shelby came out with an accusation and Wilbur raised the white flag. And I think personally that just because of that is how this whole entire debacle got misinterpreted. Now, from Shelby's end of things, it must have been really hard to come out about everything. And I have to give her props where it stands, because coming out with something like that is not easy. There's a lot of nerve that comes with that, because you feel like you have to hide it and you feel like you have to stow it away forever and just take it to your grave. But when you come out about it, you feel like crap. But then at the end of the day, when people show support for your side of the cause, then you feel amazing. But I feel like what Shelby's getting at, and I feel like what everybody else on the internet that was very involved with this situation and stood on the sidelines, is that people were welcoming him back with open arms. Yesterday, Welcome Wilbur was trending on Twitter, and if you're a victim of Wilbur Soot, or any abuser for that matter, and then you see people just absolutely praising him for coming back, it would just literally mess with your mind. It's like, in her mind, it would be like, he just got away with it. No way. No freaking way he just got away with, no, I know. It would make you mad. And it would make me livid too if, you know, someone did abuse me and then got away with it as well. Also, another piece of information that came out is that George apparently told his friends, not George, Wilbur, I'm so used to covering the George Not Found situation, it feels like I'm right back in the saddle with that. But anyways, Wilbur told his friends that he had to get a new therapist because he thought his current therapist was lying to him too much. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if a therapist is lying to you, it's not because they're lying to you because they want to lie to you, it's because you lied to your therapist originally. So what I think happened, and this is just theory, this is not meant to be taken as law or lord, it was just my theory, is that he tried to paint himself as the good guy, use that Twitter post in some way with therapists to say, oh, she was just complaining because it was consensual on her behalf, but she got all pissy about it, and now it's this whole thing on Twitter, oh my gosh. And the therapist was like, okay, well, we'll deal with it this way. But then Wilbur's like, that ain't cutting it anymore, Chief. I'm tired of being lied to. I'm walking out your door and finding somebody else. And the fact that Wilbur would lie to himself about that and lie to a therapist, it first off wastes time and money, two things we all don't have enough of. And it just is kind of like a bruh moment. Like, bruh, why would you do that? Why would you waste your time that you could have been using to better yourself over that? And it just kind of shows the overall, like, I don't know, lack of effort per se on his side of the fence here. But anyways, if I have to give my honest opinion, dude needs to spend at least the rest of this year offline because it is too soon to come back. And especially if you're just going to brush your shoulders off like the dust of coming out of a broken building and being like, okay guys, time to go make Lovejoy concerts or videos or something like that. And I think that's the way the entire community is viewing it. I think if he had come back with a sincere, honest apology, people would have still been mad, but he would have been left off the hook. But there's just no way with what he's done that, you know, he'll ever come back with a good reputation. But there's still going to be mad fanboys that'll show up to his concerts. But anyways, hopefully you guys learned something from all this. If I have to cover the Katie Bug situation again, I'm going to cry. But that's all for me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.